chills.
If you remember the Incredibles movie from 2004, then you probably remember lots of bright superheroes, memorable quotes, and funny slapstick humor, but there's one character who never laughs, and when you look at the movie through their eyes, you'll quickly find that there's a dark side to the Disney tale after all. I'm talking about Edna and her role as a murderer, or more specifically, how she personally designed Syndrome's costume, and how she killed him on purpose by including a cape. Now, I first heard of this theory on the Fan Theories subreddit. The post was by Aversa, and the link to it will be in the description, but apparently it was first made popular on Tumblr and 4chan, with the original creator credited as jdgehlert. You've probably seen a lot of Disney movies before, or at least enough to develop a pretty good feel for their formula. Disney usually tries to make it really obvious for kids to be able to tell who is good and who is bad. You can usually tell if a person is good or bad based on their clothing, entrance music, voice, and all sorts of other clues. But Edna is different than most Disney characters. Even though she hangs out with good guys, she also wears all black, never smiles, and has an accent that Disney usually reserves for the bad guys. She first appears slapping away a henchman and talking about an electric fence. She is maybe one of the strangest characters in the movie, and that's because she has a lot of dark secrets to hide. Edna is first introduced when Mr. Incredible, aka Robert Parr, goes to her mansion to talk to her about his superhero costume. He damaged the sleeve of the outfit during combat with Omni Droid 9000 and needs Edna to fix it for him. She agrees to fix his costume and says that she will make a brand new costume for him too. They are talking about possible design ideas when Mr. Incredible says that he wants a cape but Edna says that she won't give him a cape out of a concern for his own safety. You see, in the Incredibles universe, wearing a cape is almost certain death. Thunderhead died when his cape got stuck on a missile during launch. Stratogale died when her cape got sucked into a jet engine. Dynaguy was strangled by his cape when he tried to fly upwards and got it caught on something. Splashdown's cape got sucked into a vortex and took him with it. Edna is the one who designed all of their costumes, and therefore she is the one who's responsible for their deaths. Maybe that's why she never smiles or seems to enjoy life. She also says no to Mr. Incredible's request for a cape because she doesn't want him to die like the others. But when Syndrome asks her for a cape, she says yes. It is only logical to assume that Syndrome visited Edna at one point to ask her to make his costume. Even if this scene never actually happens in the movie, Edna is the best costume designer in the world, and she works with almost all of the most accomplished superheroes, including Mr. Incredible. Syndrome has worshipped Mr. Incredible since he was a child. He has been copying Mr. Incredible's style for his whole life, so it makes sense for him to ask the same person who made Mr. Incredible's costume to design one for him. Syndrome is very smart, but he is also a bit of a blabbermouth, so he probably said too much during his visit with Edna. Either that or else he said something that wouldn't make sense to Edna after she talked to Mr. Incredible later on. Maybe Syndrome told Edna that he was working with Mr. Incredible now, which would be technically true since he was employing Mr. Incredible to fight his robots, but it still wouldn't make sense to her. Edna is very connected in the superhero world, and she would remember that Mr. Incredible doesn't like Syndrome. Syndrome once tried to become a sidekick to Mr. Incredible without his permission, and it caused a lot of harm. At one point, Syndrome most likely told her about his military island base to try and impress her. All Edna knows is that Syndrome is up to something weird on a private island, but she doesn't know what. The lack of knowledge bothers her. She must learn his plans. Using her sophisticated underground lab network, she soon learns that Syndrome is selling weapons to government leaders, and he's designing even worse ones in his spare time. Keep in mind that Syndrome literally says all of this while fighting Mr. Incredible. So now she understands that Syndrome is nothing more than a supervillain who is pretending to be a good guy, and she knows that she has to act fast to stop him. At this point, Edna is in a tight spot. She can't tell anyone about Syndrome because he might come back and hurt her if he finds out. She also needs to protect her own identity because she would be in a lot of trouble if anyone finds out that she designs costumes for superheroes. So she needs to figure out some way to quietly get rid of Syndrome, and she needs to do all of this without anyone figuring out what she is really up to. She stays calm and agrees to design Syndrome's costume for him, and she tacks on a nice long cape in hopes that it will kill him later. He will never suspect it was her. In fact, nobody will. Looking back, there's plenty of evidence to suggest Edna designed Syndrome's outfit. First of all, Mr. Incredible's costume and Syndrome's costume both look like they were made by the same person. They have similar boots, gloves, and tights. Second, when Syndrome made his own suit years ago, way back when he went by the name Incrediboy, his suit was more baggy and less fancy. The new suit looks much tighter and it's made from a different material. It just doesn't look like his style. Even though Syndrome can invent all sorts of technological gadgets, he probably still needed the help of Edna for the suit, or at the very least he needed to get her expert advice. And she probably told him, don't forget the cape, you're gonna need a nice cape if you want to fight crime. When you go back and compare the two outfits, You'll notice that Syndrome's cape is much longer than the one when he was Incrediboy. It's Edna's design for sure, but there's one clue above all else that lets you know Syndrome got Edna's help. It happened back when he was still Incrediboy. Bon Voyage took one look at his raggedy costume and said, "And your outfit looks ridiculous." These harsh words went on to haunt Syndrome for years and years. He knew that he couldn't design a proper looking costume on his own, so he sought the help of Edna. So let's look at Edna's first scene again, this time assuming that she would have a conversation with Syndrome beforehand. Mr. Incredible asks Edna to patch up his suit for sentimental reasons. He said this because being a superhero is illegal and he doesn't want anyone to know he is back in the game, not even Edna. She doesn't believe this excuse, and she says that she will have his suit ready before his next assignment. This is a bold assumption to make unless she had information to back it up. At this point, Edna knows that Mr. Incredible is up to something, but she doesn't know exactly what it is. This bothers her greatly. She even wonders if Mr. Incredible is now a supervillain and now working with Syndrome. It's a dark thought, but a real possibility nonetheless. She tries to trick Mr. Incredible into revealing his plans, but he insists that he's not doing any superhero work. She knows that he is lying. So Edna then tricks Mr. Incredible into asking her to design him a brand new suit. This way she can install a secret tracking device and use it to follow his every move. The tracking device soon shows her that Mr. Incredible is on Syndrome's island, and that's all the information she needs to confirm her suspicions. She knows that he is either being lured into a trap by Syndrome, or else he is secretly working with Syndrome. Now she needs to find out which one it is. Edna is desperate to know more about this mystery, but she can only do so much on her own. She is way too small and fragile to go to the island and investigate by herself, and as I said before, she needs to keep her identity secret at all costs. She gets a bit of luck when Elastigirl, who is the wife of Mr. Incredible, randomly gives her a call. She can use Mr. Incredible's family to find out more. Elastigirl was vacuuming around the house when she noticed that someone had repaired her husband's suit. She knew that only Edna had the skills to do this, so she calls up Edna to learn why her husband wanted his suit repaired in the first place. It's at this point that Edna realizes she can use Mr. Incredible's family to see exactly what he's been up to. She invites Elastigirl over and launches into the next phase of her plan. Before Elastigirl comes over, Edna quickly designs superhero suits for the rest of the Incredible family to wear. She has plans to make the family fight Syndrome. Of course, none of them know this at the time. Sure, it's not the most honest option, but Edna is willing to manipulate whoever she has to so that she can get the information she needs. When Elastigirl starts to question Edna, Edna says that she repaired Mr. Incredible's suit because he asked her to, which is true, but then she lies. She says that making Robert's suit again makes her want to start making suits for fun again, which is not true. Obviously, Edna is not making suits again simply out of a love for making suits. She has successfully created suits for the Incredible family to wear, but now she needs to get them onto Syndrome's island somehow, and without any of them knowing the real reason. After all, if the family is captured by Syndrome, absolutely none of this can be traced back to her. Thinking fast, she makes Elastigirl question her husband's loyalty in their marriage. She encourages Elastigirl to call her husband's job, knowing that he has been fired long ago. Elastigirl calls Mr. Incredible's workplace and finds out that he hasn't worked there in 2 months. He is supposed to be on a business conference, but the hotel phone number he gave her doesn't work. It looks like he is having an affair. Of course, Edna knows that this is not the case, but she makes it sound like a possibility. What she really needs is to get Elastigirl angry enough to go to the island, and a possible affair is the perfect excuse. Things don't go exactly as Edna planned. Instead of getting angry and going straight to the island, Elastigirl becomes upset and starts sobbing at the table. She is too stressed out to think straight and asks Edna for help. Edna smacks her and says that Elastigirl has to go to the island and find out the truth about her marriage once and for all. Of course, Edna really just wants to find out what Syndrome is up to, and she is willing to play the part of a concerned friend to achieve this goal. She reminds Elastigirl that she can use the tracking device to find Mr. Incredible's location, and she encourages her to go to the island and find closure, be it good or bad. Meanwhile, unknown by either of them, Mr. Incredible has been captured by Syndrome and is being held in a 0-point energy stasis. His family arrives on the island and they use their suits to beat Syndrome's army. It's fair to say that they probably would have been defeated if not for Edna's technology. She gave Dash a suit that could handle the friction generated from his speed, and Violet received a suit that turned completely invisible. Elastigirl was given a suit that could let her stretch to her fullest length. The family had to use all of these powers to survive, and if they had capes, they almost surely would have died many times over. It's strange to think of the power that Edna held over superheroes all this time. She is the tiniest character of all, but she could basically kill off any superhero she wanted just by including a cape with their outfit. It might not have happened as fast as she would have liked, but in the Incredibles universe, A hero with a cape was bound to die eventually, yet for some reason, they all trusted her enough to wear capes. There are plenty of times Mr. Incredible would have died if Edna had chosen to give him a cape. A cape could have made Mr. Incredible's trip during his escape from Mirage's office through the doors made of lava, or it could have caused him to stumble when he was being pushed by the Omni Droid 9000. His life was in her hands the entire time. When she said no to his request for a cape, she was truly saving his life. Edna was arguably the most effective character in the movie. Jump ahead to Syndrome's final scene and you'll see that it was Edna who won the battle, not the Incredibles. Syndrome steals Jack and flies towards his aircraft. Jack turns into a demon and knocks one of Syndrome's rocket boots off, causing Syndrome to drop him. Mr. Incredible throws Elastigirl high into the air and she catches Jack and brings him to safety. At this point, the fight is a draw. The Incredibles have Jack back again and they are now looking up at Syndrome from the ground. Syndrome is about to get away when Mr. Incredible throws a car at his aircraft and knocks him backwards. Syndrome is still alive, and again the match appears to be a stalemate. Suddenly, Syndrome's cape gets caught in the engine, and he dies. Simply put, Mr. Incredible's car missed. Edna's cape finished the job. Edna won the battle. But to Mr. Incredible and everyone else watching, it looked like Mr. Incredible delivered the final blow. This is exactly what Edna wanted. She did not want any credit. She only wanted to achieve her goals. She has successfully killed Syndrome, verified that Mr. Incredible was not working with him, and she never left any trails behind that could point back to her. It couldn't have gone any better. Now, having said all that, there are two good reasons why Edna went to all of this trouble helping Mr. Incredible and killing Syndrome in the first place, and it wasn't to help a close friend. The first reason she helped Mr. Incredible is out of pure revenge. When you think about it, Syndrome basically ended Edna's career as a designer of superhero costumes early on. Here's what happened. Many years ago, back when Syndrome was still calling himself Incrediboy, he foolishly interrupted Mr. Incredible during a fight with Bon Voyage. Syndrome said that he was going to go and call the police, and that's when Bon Voyage threw a bomb on the back of Syndrome's cape to stop him. Mr. Incredible forgets about Bon Voyage and grabs onto the back of Syndrome's cape to try and knock the bomb off. Mr. Incredible is trying to warn Syndrome about the bomb, but Syndrome doesn't seem to understand. To Syndrome, it probably just looks like Mr. Incredible was angry at him, and now he was trying to stop him from getting the police. It was all very confusing to the boy at the time, and most likely traumatic too. Maybe this misunderstood memory is what caused Syndrome to want to kill Mr. Incredible all those years later. Anyway, Mr. Incredible rips the bomb off of Syndrome and lets go. He and the bomb fall onto the train tracks. The bomb detonates and Mr. Incredible saves a train full of people by keeping the train from crashing to the ground. The train full of people all sue Mr. Incredible for injuries. This lawsuit was one of the biggest legal cases that would eventually cause all superheroes to become banned from society. Once being a superhero became illegal, then poor Edna was unable to pursue her passion of designing superhero costumes. Mr. Incredible tells her that Incrediboy is the reason for the train going off the tracks, and she becomes furious. When she sees Incrediboy years later, now as Syndrome, she recognizes him and wants revenge. After all, the very person who ruined her dream job is now asking for a costume. He must die. This kind of behavior hardly seems like something that a good character would do, and that's because Edna is actually not a good character at all. She is evil to the core. Now we're getting to the best part of this theory. Edna is actually a villain. Think about it. Everything about her screams crazy and evil. She has no semblance of a family and yells and hits people. Look at all the weapons she has in her laboratory. Flamethrowers, machine guns, and even some sort of heavy turret that comes out of the ceiling and almost blasts Elastigirl. It's none of the traits of a hero and all of the traits of a villain. Want to know the truth about Edna? She is an arms dealer. When Syndrome started to sell weapons, he automatically made her competition. It wouldn't be very hard for Edna to find out that Syndrome is selling weapons to other countries. After all, he readily admitted it to Mr. Incredible. So once she found out that he was selling weapons to her customers, then she had to take him out before he got too big. You might wonder why Edna would bother to design costumes for the superhero community if she was actually the bad guy. Well, like the old saying goes, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Doing favors for superheroes and becoming friends with them is a great way to keep them from suspecting you are a mad scientist who sells weapons on the side. Designing their suits is also probably very good money too. Plus, if you ever needed to use a superhero to achieve your goals, like with Mr. Incredible and his family for example, then they would do what you said without question. By making herself a costume designer, Edna put herself in a position where she could kill a superhero or two without anyone noticing. You would have to wonder if Edna would design a suit with a cape for heroes who were growing too strong for their own own good. Maybe she killed Thunderhead and others on purpose before they became powerful enough to become a threat later. The only real reason she didn't give Mr. Incredible a cape was because she needed to use him and his family to destroy Syndrome. Mr. Incredible was useful to her at the time, and so he and his family were spared. It was out of necessity rather than compassion. So next time you watch The Incredibles, pay close attention to Edna. You'll find that she is way more cunning and ruthless than Syndrome could have ever hoped to be. Do you agree that Edna designed Syndrome's cape with the intention of killing him? Do you think that Edna could really be a bad guy in disguise? I really like reading all of your opinions in the comments, and be sure to include any other theories as well. If this video gets a positive response, then I will do more dark fan theories about other movies in the future. Until next time, stay scared guys. Thanks for checking out this video. Be sure to subscribe because I upload a new scary video every Thursday. Or if you're still not convinced, here are some of our other videos that I think you'd like. Enjoy!